Midí Vacharja agus Rgéid Fáilte Rash Igaganel. Welcome back, everyone. So I've got a new series that I'll be making, hopefully over the course of the next 52 weeks, called Seanfhocal na sheachtain. Seanfhocal na sheachtain. So that means Proverb of the Week. So every week I'm going to upload a video related to one proverb that we can go through, learn, break down, and hopefully improve both of our usage of these, because I don't really have them in my active vocabulary much anymore. I'll understand them when I come across them, but I would like to introduce them into my Irish again, and I think it gives your Irish a lot more kind of colour and depth if you know at least a few of these. So yeah, I hope you'll subscribe and come along for the journey, and that it's useful for you. So let's make a start. And just for the first video to break down this, so seanfhocal, it's a compound of the two words sean and focal. So sean meaning old, of course an adjective. Focal meaning a phrase or a saying, or most people know it just as word, but it does have a more wide meaning than that. You can see in the parentheses, in the bracket beside focal, there's an F. It's telling you the gender of focal, but it's not feminine. In these slides, whenever you see it, it'll be in Irish. So in this case, the F stands for feadh, which is masculine. Or in the case of a feminine noun, it'll be a B in the brackets, which stands for buinninscnach. So in Irish, in most cases, the adjective comes after the noun. But in some cases, and sean is one of those, it often comes at the front of the noun, and they actually are combined into one word. And if possible, when sean is added to the noun at the front, it'll cause lentition. So it'll cause a H to be added into the next word. So you can see it's not just seanfhocal, it's seanfhocal. So be aware of that, and you'll see cases of this. Another common one is with the word ban meaning woman. It'll become not seanban but seanvan. So yeah, it's just a good one to be aware of. And our seanfhocal for this week is tusma dhaoibh. Tusma dhaoibh. So I've got the original snip from the book I took it from, which is in the old Gaelic, Cloghailach, the Gaelic script. Then it's written, typed in the Gaelic script, and then it's just in a kind of a plain modern typeface, and it hopefully give you a chance to get used to reading the Gaelic script as well, which I would like to make some videos about, actually, to help people to learn this. So tusma dhaoibh, or tusma dhaoibh. So this means a good start is half the work, and we'll break it down a little bit now. So looking at the first half, tusma, tus. So our first word, tus, means start or beginning. It's also a focal feadh. It's a masculine noun, and we've got ma or mai. It's an adjective meaning good. So in Irish, when we add an adjective to a noun, depending on the gender of the noun, we need to possibly change the adjective. However, tus is a masculine noun, so we don't need to change the adjective ma. So we can just stick the two together, and it becomes tusma, a good start. And taking a look at the second half, dhaoibh. So lea meaning half. You can see by the B in the brackets. Focal buininch dhaoine. It's a feminine noun. Half, lea. And then we've got obair, or an obair, meaning the work or work. And this is in the nominative case. Most people probably have come across this word by now, obair, meaning work, in the nominative case. So most words, when you learn them, if you look them up in a dictionary, or if you've learned them, you've probably learned the nominative case. But there's also a case called the tiisiil ginideach, or the genitive case, which needs to be used in some grammatical circumstances. And this is one of those excuse me, in which we put two nouns together and they're essentially kind of describing each other, or there's a strong relationship between them. They relate directly with one another. So we're describing half of the work, so lea an obair. But since they are directly related to each other, the second of the nouns needs to be in the genitive case. It kind of creates a little noun group, essentially, just to let you know that they are kind of one concept, one idea. So instead of just saying, if we want to say half the work, instead of just saying lea an obair, we have to change it to lea na hibre, or lea na hibre, changing the work into the genitive case. So lea na hibre, half of the work. And so yeah, it's quite a short proverb, but putting the two halves together again. Tús má leat na hibre. Tús má leat na hibre. You can see the English translation down there. A good beginning is half the work. A good start or a good beginning is half the work. I think we also use this in English quite a bit. So anybody that's kind of studied a bit of Irish will probably feel like tús má leat na hibre is a bit strange, because it doesn't have a verb, or it doesn't have the copula. So it seems quite like an incomplete sentence. So in reality, it is a copular phrase. There should be an is at the start of it. It's just been used so much in that context that the is kind of understood. It's not really required, so it's been dropped in most cases. But when you can still say it, you can still say it's tús má leat na hibre, and it still sounds very natural, but it's not required. And you can see in the English translation, the is in brackets, which kind of is showing that technically this verb of the form of to be is not present in the Irish. All that's in the Irish is kind of the equivalent of a good beginning and half the work. A good beginning being tús má, and half the work being leat na hibre. And it's also I'm making a grammar series at the moment in which I'll kind of go into more detail about this and look at lots of examples. But this is tús má leat na hibre is an example of a copular phrase, and just with the way that they're structured, it's kind of backwards. So a more literal kind of transliteration of the Irish tús má leat na hibre is half the work is a good start. That will make more sense when we look at more examples of the copula in the future. But yes, hopefully you've enjoyed this first lesson. I thought it was an appropriate proverb to use in this case, and please do subscribe to stay on the journey with me for the 52 weeks. Thank you to anybody that's subscribed already. Apologies for such a long gap in uploads. I've been very, very busy in the meantime, but I'm making sure I get some time each week to prepare a new video. So please do subscribe and keep watching, and I will see you in the next one. Go míle maith agus slán go fóill.